Gunter Schlierkamp made bodybuilding history in 2002 by becoming the only man in bodybuilding history to get a victory over Ronnie King Coleman during, and I mean smack dab in the middle of his reign as Mr. Olympia champion. And of course, it was at the 2002 Show of Strength, and what a night. And of course, it goes without saying, this was the absolute peak of Gunter Schlierkamp's bodybuilding career. And today we're going to go back to the start and look at the rise and then fall of his bodybuilding career. I guess we'll see if it was an actual fall down. Obviously, unless you retire in your prime, your placings are going to fall. This guy competed as a teen, competed several times, I assume, as a teenager. I mean, the guy was born in 1970 in Germany, by the way, so it would have been in the late 80s. He did win his first big competition in 1990, the German Championships. 1992, fast forward to the European Amateur Championships, which he did win, of course. He also won the German Championships that year. Hard to find pictures on all these. 1993, Gunter Schlierkamp won the World Amateur Championships, and in doing so, he got his pro card. Time to compete with the big boys, seemingly. 1994, he would compete at a couple of Grand Prix England and Germany, placing 8th in both. And then I believe he received a special invite to the Olympia because 1994 he made his Mr. Olympia debut. But I'm sure he didn't earn away with the 2 8th place finishes. So I'm sure it was an invite. 1995 was a breakout year for Gunter. The Canada Pro Cup, the guy placed second, and he actually got a victory over Milos Sarcev. Ronnie King Coleman won that event, but Milos, he was a very top-ranked competitor. So for Gunter to get a victory over him, the Canada Pro Cup, I mean, kudos to him. And then he went and got 10th at the Grand Prix Ukraine. On into 1996, Gunter would make his Arnold's Classics debut. He placed 11th, not the greatest. He would also get an 11th place finish at that year's Night of Champions. Hey, it's Edward Kowak. He was still competing in 96? Interesting. Also, in 96, Gunter received a 9th place finish at that year's San Jose Pro. Hard to find pictures, some of these events. On to 97. He got 6th at the Canada Pro Cup. Like I said, hard to find some of the pictures at some of these events. In 1997, he also competed in the Ironman, and he received a DQ. Not a Dairy Queen treat. A disqualification. Did he flip out and start throwing tables around? Could you imagine? Wow, that would be funny. But anyway, I don't know the reasoning. Night of Champions, 97, he got 9th. And he also received an 11th place finish at that year's San Jose Pro. On into the following year, 1998, Gunter, he competed in a couple of Grand Prix, including a 6th place finish at that year's Finland, and also a 6th at that year's Germany, Grand Prix Germany. Germany's baby please. Then on to the Night of Champions, which he seemed to always compete in. He got 10th. And then again, strangely enough, he made it to the Olympia. So, special invite every year. He did not place anyway. San Francisco Pro, he got 9th. Toronto Pro, he got 6th. He competed a pile, this guy. 1999, he only competed twice, which was a short year for him. That would be a lot of competitions for a nowadays competitor. Placed 9th at the Arnold's Classics and 5th at the Ironman. Actually did quite well. Beat Lee Priest. 99 Ironman. On into 2000, and I think this was a breakout year for this man. He got 6th at the Arnold's Classics. So, he was there to show the other guys that he did, in fact, belong. He got 4th at the Grand Prix England that year. Also a 4th place finish at the Ironman Pro. So, yeah, Come Olympia time, he got 12th. So, at least it was a placing, for goodness sakes, and not just you don't place. He also received 6th place at the World Pro Championships in 2000 to round that year off. 2001, would this be his year? He got 10th at the Grand Prix England. He got 9th at the Night of Champions. So not a stellar year. He did, in fact, make it to the Olympia once again. So, always it's just an open invite to Gunter. And the Olympia, he got 15th, so he slipped in placings. Toronto Pro, he got 6th. So, not too bad. And that was 2001. And in 2002, Gunter Schlierkamp hit the IFBB like a tidal wave. That is what I said, a tidal wave. This guy, he was shredded to the diced. He was peeled. He was razor sharp at the 2002 Mr. Olympia event. And dare I say, most fans would say anyway, he's an uncrowned Mr. Olympia champion in 2002. I don't think the judges seen him coming. Coleman was off. A lot of them were not 100%. Cormier included, Kevin Levrone. Gunter was on. Should he have won? Well, I guess that's a story for another day. He took 5th. Unbelievably, he took 5th, which for Gunter at that time, on paper, was unbelievable. But he could have even got a higher placing. And then the 2002 Show of Strength. It was basically came down to Ronnie Coleman and Gunter himself. There was Chris Cormier was there, but these two were posing down, going pose for pose. Coleman was a little bit improved from the Olympia, so I'm sure in everybody's mind he was still going to do enough to defeat Gunter. In my opinion, and yes, I admit you can't tell everything from pictures, but you can investigate, and I believe Gunter was more shredded at the Show of Strength than he's ever been. He was, like I said earlier, peeled. He was even more so at the Night of Champions. And then it came down to the final two, and the announcer announced your winner, Gunter Schlierkamp. Could you imagine the feeling of this guy? Not only did you just win your first pro show. My estimation, guys, this was his first pro show win, and that is unbelievable. And more importantly, you get a victory over the current Mr. Olympia champion. This must have been the sweetest moment. Never mind Gunter's career, but anybody's bodybuilding career. Wow. And for a modest guy like that, a seemingly modest guy, to have that happen, that is unreal. So that was the very peak of this roller coaster ride of a bodybuilding career, and he shot up from 2001 to 2002 like a rocket. Did he soar down? Well, not really. 2003, he was still doing pretty good. He got 3rd at the England Grand Prix. He lost only to Jay Cutler and Ernie Taylor, strangely enough. He got 4th at that year's Grand Prix Holland. Then came the Olympia. I mean, was he any better? I think he was almost as good in 2003. He looked pretty darn good, but I don't think anybody, including Gunter, seen a 300-pound Ronnie Coleman. And no, I don't know if he was exactly 300. He was close to it. But I'm sure he did not see Coleman coming. 300 pounds. I'm sure if he did, he figured that he probably would have went for size, which was evidently not the case. There was other factors aside from a 300-pound Ronnie King Coleman. Jay Cutler was really getting into his own, and at the end of the day, Gunter, all he mustered was a 5th place finish, the same thing that he placed 1 year prior. It seemed that the sting of his 2002 dominance was rapidly fading indeed. He competed at the Arnold Classic in 2004, and received a 4th place finish. So yeah, it was dwindling fast. And with the 2004 Mr. Olympia event, Gunter slipping in placings, I mean, even Gunter himself probably figured, that's it. That's it. He placed 6th. And in 2005, something happened. He seemed to have a new fire in his eyes. Not only that, but he was peeled. He was shredded to the diced. Looked like he had improved for sure. I would say absolutely. And aside from Ronnie King Coleman and Jay Cutler, who were, it was the Jay and Ronnie show. Aside from them two, and one other gentleman, Gustavo Bedell, who was one of the best bodybuilders that year for sure, Gunter would have been Mr. Olympia. Aside from 3 guys, I mean, that's unbelievable. He placed 4th. So 2005, arguably his best look. Unbelievable. So he had a new fire in that belly. He figured, I'm going to get that 2002 fire again. And the thing of it is, guys, he was being trained back in 2002 by Charles Glass, world-renowned coach, trainer, guru, whatever. Dexter the Blade Jackson, another one that trained with him. So he went back and trained with Charles Glass for the 2006 Mr. Olympia. He was going all out. He increased his placings. He got 4th the year before from 6th. And you know what? At the end of the day, he looked good. He looked conditioned. He actually improved in those back shots where he did need to improve. But he got 10th. The IFBB seemingly putting him to the back burner. Guys like Tony Freeman, big Hostetler studs like that, hitting the scene. And wow, you can clearly see Gunter looks like a couple inches taller than Tony Freeman, who's a legit 6'1". So that claim of Gunter being 6'1", I don't buy it. And you guys at home shouldn't either. But anyway, that was it for Gunter Schlierkamp, the 2006 Mr. Olympia event, placing 10th. I'm sure very dejected, very upset. But you know what? At the end of the day, nobody will ever take away that 2002 show of strength victory. My goodness, has to be the best year of Gunter's life. And realistically, 2002 Olympia, he won the night. The fans were for him. And at the end of the day, it's all about the fans, right? I'm sure to Gunter it is. And like I said, nobody's ever going to take away that win for 2002. For one brief night, he was the best bodybuilder on the face of the earth because he beat the Olympia champion, right? So yeah, he was kind of Mr. Olympia in a way, and uncrowned as well. But you know what? The most important part about this guy, Gunter Schlierkamp, never heard a bad word about him. Always hear that he was a really nice guy. Always in a good mood. Always willing to lend a helping hand. Never bringing the room down. Always bringing the room up. And that type of personality, that's just great. That's just great. And I guess the same could be said about the other gentlemen in this picture. Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, Milo Sarchev. All very nice gentlemen, and not to mention all world-class bodybuilders. And Gunter, he belongs in that crowd of some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. That's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Really hope you enjoyed this feature on the rise and then fall of Gunter Schlierkamp. It's too darn bad he never did get that brass ring, but pretty stellar career nonetheless. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys, and please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Have a great one.